The field decides first. Chapter 1. Why people treat you the way they do. You rise or fall with how people treat you. And that sentence alone makes the ego uncomfortable. Because we like to believe treatment is earned through effort, goodness, or luck. As if the universe is running a moral customer service desk. But pause for a moment. Have you ever watched someone walk into a room and without speaking, without trying, without announcing themselves, attention shifts? Eyes lift, energy reorganizes, people lean in, and then you've seen the opposite. Someone equally intelligent, equally capable, yet life seems to meet them with resistance. Awkward pauses, closed doors, missed timing, same world, very different responses. So the mind reaches for comfort. They're charismatic. They're lucky. They just have good energy. Vague answers, emotionally soothing, mechanically useless. Here's the uncomfortable truth. People do not respond first to your words. They respond to your field. Before language, before logic, before intention, the nervous system scans one thing only. What state is this person in? This is not mystical poetry. It's biology and perception. Every human emits a continuous signal made of posture, breath rhythm, muscle tone, eye focus, pacing, and emotional baseline. Ancient systems read this instantly. We call it an aura, but functionally, it's information. And that information originates from one place: your internal configuration, your beliefs, your emotional defaults, your identity assumptions, your level of awareness. Not what you say you believe, but what your system expects when nothing is happening. Here's where Hermetic wisdom gets practical. As within, so without was never a slogan. It was an operating manual. What exists inside organizes what appears outside. If your internal state is coherent, aligned, low in contradiction, your field is clean. Clean signals are easy to respond to. People feel safe, open, curious. If your internal state is fragmented, pulling between confidence and doubt, hope and fear, self-trust and self-judgment, your field is noisy, and noise creates hesitation. Not rejection, just resistance. Here's the dark humor. No one is consciously doing this to you. No secret meeting, no universal punishment committee. Their nervous systems are just answering the signal they receive. You don't get treated based on who you want to be. You get treated based on who you are being, consistently. This is why affirmations alone don't work. This is why performance collapses. This is why pretending confidence feels exhausting. Because the field always speaks first, and it speaks the truth. The good news, and yes, there is good news. Fields can be recalibrated, not by force, not by acting, but by coherence. And once coherence changes, the mirror has no choice but to respond differently. Not because people decide to treat you better, but because they feel something different. Pause. In the next chapter, we'll break down the exact loop that keeps this pattern running. How internal configuration becomes signal. Signal becomes response. And response reinforces identity. The system that creates luck, and the one that quietly manufactures misfortune. Once you see the loop, you stop fighting outcomes and start changing the source. And yes, it's simpler than the self-improvement industry wants it to be. Chapter 2. The loop you're stuck in and why it keeps working. Now that you see the field speaks first, the next question becomes unavoidable. If people are responding to a signal, what exactly is generating it? Not spiritually, not emotionally, mechanically, because if this were chaos, nothing could be changed. But it isn't chaos. It's a system, and systems repeat. Everything begins with what we'll call your internal configuration. This is not your personality, not your mood today, not your affirmations. It is the combined state of four things operating at once: your core beliefs, your emotional defaults, your identity assumptions, and your level of awareness. Together, they form a baseline. Not what you want to feel, but what you always return to. This baseline is what your nervous system recognizes as normal. And the nervous system does not respond to logic. It responds to familiarity. If tension is familiar, it stabilizes tension. If doubt is familiar, it stabilizes doubt. If calm is familiar, it stabilizes calm. No judgment, no morality, just pattern reinforcement. From this internal configuration, a signal is produced automatically. Your field output. You don't choose it. You don't control it consciously. It happens before thought. Your posture adjusts. Your breath shortens or deepens. Your eyes hesitate or lock. Your voice tightens or settles. All of it compresses into one signal. This is why two people can say the same words and receive completely different reactions. Same sentence, different field. Humans read this precognitively, before meaning, before intention. The brain evolved to ask one question first. Is this safe? Not emotionally safe. Energetically predictable. The answer arrives instantly. Then comes the mirror response. Not what people decide to do, but how they naturally respond. Tone softens or hardens. Interest opens or collapses. Opportunities appear or quietly disappear. Not punishment, not reward. Reflection. Here's where the loop locks in. That response feeds back into your internal configuration. You are treated a certain way, and the mind says, "See? I knew it. Of course this happens." Belief strengthens. Identity tightens. The baseline stabilizes. This is the resonance loop. Internal configuration creates field output. Field output produces mirror response. Mirror response reinforces internal configuration. Round and round. Not because you're broken, because systems repeat what works, even when what works is suffering. Here's the dark joke most people miss. The loop doesn't care what you deserve. It doesn't negotiate fairness. It doesn't respond to effort. It only asks one thing. What state is being broadcast consistently? This is why people feel stuck. They try to change outcomes, jobs, relationships, cities, while carrying the same baseline inside. Different environment, same signal, same response. The mirror keeps replying. Message received, still the same. Positive thinking doesn't break this loop. Repetition doesn't break it. Pretending confidence doesn't break it. Because none of that alters internal configuration. It decorates the surface, while the source remains unchanged. The field doesn't respond to intention. It responds to coherence. If belief, emotion, and identity are misaligned, the signal becomes noisy, and noise creates resistance. This is why effort often backfires. This is why trying harder feels exhausting. This is why performance collapses under pressure. The loop is brutally honest. You can lie to people. You can lie to yourself. You cannot lie to the field. Pause. Here's the shift that changes everything. The loop is not your enemy. It is your feedback system. Social reality is not separate from manifestation. It is its fastest mirror. Money, relationships, respect, opportunity, different costumes, same mechanism. Change the internal configuration, and the field output changes automatically. No forcing, no acting, no performance. And when the field changes, the mirror has no choice but to respond differently. Not because people decide to treat you better, but because their nervous systems detect stability, and stability feels safe. Pause. In the next chapter, we'll expose why some people command space without trying, why attention follows alignment, and why charisma is a side effect, not a cause. Once you see it, you'll stop chasing presence and start becoming it. Chapter 3. Why some people command space without trying. Pause for a moment. Have you noticed that attention moves before intention? Someone enters a room and the space reorganizes. Conversation softens, eyes drift, energy orients. They haven't spoken, they haven't performed, they haven't earned anything yet. And still, presence lands. This is usually mislabeled as charisma. Charisma sounds mystical, rare, unteachable, convenient. It saves us from examining structure. But charisma is not the cause. It is the side effect. What you're witnessing is coherence. When a person's internal configuration is aligned, their field becomes simple, clean, predictable. And the nervous system loves predictability. Not boredom, stability. A coherent person is not louder, not flashier, not more dominant. They are less divided. Their beliefs are not fighting their emotions. Their emotions are not undermining their identity. Their identity is not negotiating its worth in real time. Nothing is leaking, so the field they emit is smooth. And smooth signals are easy to read. This is why attention follows alignment, not because people admire them, but because their systems relax around them. Here's the part that irritates the ego. Commanding space has nothing to do with confidence theater. Posture tricks fail. Power poses collapse. Affirmations evaporate under pressure. Because the field speaks before the body remembers the script. If your internal state is fragmented, the field shows it. If your internal state is stable, the field carries it. You cannot fake coherence. The nervous system detects incongruence instantly. Micro delays, hesitant pacing, subtle tension. The signal says, "I'm still deciding who I am." The environment responds, "Then I'll wait." Now look at people who seem invisible. Not ignored intentionally, just overlooked. They speak and nothing lands. They show up and nothing shifts. This is not because they lack value. It's because their field is noisy. Too many internal conversations running at once. Am I enough? Do I belong? Will I be rejected? Should I shrink? Should I perform? That internal negotiation leaks, and leakage weakens signal. Here's the dark humor. Most people think commanding space means taking it. More volume, more effort, more assertion. But force amplifies contradiction, and contradiction is loud in the field. The people who truly command space are doing something far simpler. They are not asking the room for permission, not consciously, energetically. Their identity is already decided. Not inflated, not defensive, settled. And settlement reads as authority. Quantum physics gives us a metaphor here. A coherent wave carries information cleanly. An incoherent wave scatters energy. Same energy, different organization. One moves through space, the other dissipates. Human presence works the same way. When your internal states collapse into alignment, your field sharpens. Not aggressive, precise. And precision draws attention. This is why silence can feel heavy, why calm can feel powerful, why someone doing very little can feel like they're doing a lot. They're not adding energy, they're removing contradiction. And the mirror responds instantly. People listen more, interrupt less, offer space without realizing why. Not because you demanded it, because the field made room. Pause. In the next chapter, we'll dismantle the illusion of luck and misfortune. Why timing seems to work for some and against others, and how resonance disguises itself as chance. You'll see why nothing is random, and why the pattern always repeats until the state changes. Once that clicks, you stop blaming fate and start reading feedback. Chapter 4: The Illusion of Luck and the Myth of Misfortune. Pause. At some point, everyone notices it. Some people move through life as if doors open just in time. Opportunities appear, help arrives, timing works. Others, equally intelligent and capable, feel like they are always pushing uphill. Wrong place, wrong moment, missed chances, endless friction. So the mind reaches for a story. They're lucky. I'm unlucky. Life isn't fair. Comforting explanations, also completely inaccurate. Luck is not random favor. Misfortune is not punishment. Both are patterns of resonance. The environment does not respond to effort or morality. It responds to coherence. People labeled as lucky are not blessed. They are less internally fragmented. That's the part nobody wants to hear. Their internal configuration does not constantly contradict itself. They expect things to work. They assume support is normal. They are not rehearsing rejection before it arrives. Expectation is not wishful thinking. Expectation is a preloaded state. The nervous system prepares the body for what it anticipates. When anticipation is calm, the body stays open. When anticipation is fearful, the body braces. That brace leaks into the field, and the mirror responds accordingly. Now look at what gets labeled as bad luck. Missed calls, awkward timing, people pulling away, opportunities evaporating. Underneath, you almost always find the same patterns. Guilt loops, fear, anticipation, expectation of rejection, identity level doubt. These are not character flaws. They are low coherence states. Low coherence does not shout, it whispers. Tight posture, shallow breath, delayed responses, hesitant eye contact. The field quietly says, "I'm not sure it's safe." The environment replies, "Then I won't open fully." Not cruel, accurate. Hermetic wisdom explains this through rhythm. Everything oscillates. When the inner state swings between hope and fear, the outer world mirrors instability. Timing feels off. Flow breaks. Momentum stalls. People call it misfortune. But luck is not failing. Resonance is matching. Here's the part that dismantles the victim narrative. Nothing is being taken from you. Nothing is being withheld. The mirror is reflecting state consistency. This is why unlucky streaks feel repetitive. Same pattern, different setting, new job, same friction, new relationship, same ending, new plan, same stall. The environment keeps responding. Signal unchanged. Pause. This is not blame. Blame implies fault. This is mechanics. A cracked lens distorts the image without intending to. Fix the lens, and the image clears. People with high coherence states experience what looks like luck because their field is easy to respond to. They are not scanning for danger. They are not bracing for loss. They are not negotiating worth. Their baseline is neutral to positive, and neutrality allows flow. Flow looks like favor. Now the dark humor. Most people try to fix misfortune by controlling outcomes. More planning, more effort, more force. That only amplifies internal tension, and tension is loud in the field. The mirror tightens further. You cannot muscle your way out of a resonance pattern. You have to soften the source. When guilt dissolves, the field opens. When fear settles, timing aligns. When identity stabilizes, access expands. Not magically, mechanically. The world does not decide to help you. It simply encounters less resistance. And resistance is always internal first. So stop asking, why does this keep happening to me? Start asking, what state am I rehearsing before it happens? What do you expect when nothing is happening? What story runs quietly in the background? What outcome feels familiar? Because familiarity is the magnet. Shift familiarity. And what feels lucky shifts with it. Pause. In the next chapter, we'll translate as within, so without into an exact operational chain, from belief to posture to perception to opportunity. No mysticism required, just awareness applied precisely. Chapter 5. As within, so without, the exact mechanism. Pause. By now, as within, so without should no longer sound poetic. It's not wisdom wallpaper. It's a chain reaction, a very specific one. Let's translate it slowly. Everything begins with belief. Not what you say you believe, what your system assumes when no one is watching. Belief shapes expectation. Expectation shapes posture. Posture shapes micro-expression. Micro-expression shapes perception. Perception shapes access. Access shapes outcome. No mystery, no magic wand, just compression. Your aura is not a thing floating around you. It is the compressed output of this entire chain, running in real time. This is why words matter far less than state. You can say confident things while your body whispers doubt. You can speak love while your system braces for loss. You can say, I'm fine, while everything in you prepares for impact. And humans feel that instantly. Because field output always precedes speech. The nervous system does not listen first. It scans. It asks, is this person coherent? Is this signal stable? Is this safe to engage? If belief, emotion, and identity agree, the signal is clean. If they don't, the signal fractures. Here's the dark humor. You don't repel people because you're wrong. You repel them because you're inconsistent. And inconsistency feels risky. That's why performance fails. That's why masks exhaust you. That's why trying to be confident collapses under pressure. The mirror reflects truth, not intention. Now look at emotional content. Low coherence states like guilt, fear, doubt, shame, resentment don't announce themselves. They tighten posture, shorten breath, delay response. The field quietly says, I'm protecting myself. The environment replies, then I'll keep distance. High coherence states like gratitude, calm belief, trust, self-acceptance do the opposite. They soften the body, slow the breath, stabilize pacing. The field says, I'm settled. The environment responds with ease. This is why timing improves, why cooperation increases, Why opportunity appears without force. Not because the world chose you, because resistance dropped. And resistance is always internal first. Here's the final correction. You do not change your life by forcing outcomes. You change your life by updating the source state that produces them. Tools matter only if they alter internal configuration, not behavior, not performance, state. When the internal configuration updates, field output updates automatically. Mirror response shifts without effort. People treat you differently without knowing why. Opportunities arrive without explanation. Flow replaces friction. And yes, from the outside, it looks like luck. But now you know better. People don't react to who you claim to be. They react to who you are being. Change the internal configuration, and the mirror changes automatically. No persuasion required. No effort required. Only alignment.